Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at Google and compare it against Bing in 2023 and see which specific search engine is the better one for you. Now, I will be completely honest, I think both are very good, but I do think Bing has the higher potential of probably gaining new users than Google would. I think a majority of people who are using Bing probably have a higher likelihood of switching over to Google rather than people on Google switching over to Bing, but there's way more people who are using Google. Like, there are probably 1,000,000 times more people, whatever that number is, I just made it up, more people using Google than something like Bing. So because of that, there's more potential for, Microsoft to go and sway people over from Google to use Bing, because search engine is, the search engine business is such a massive business and it's so crazy. Now, at their core, they offer the same exact thing. So they can basically show you the same exact, searches at their core. So basically, if you wanted to go ahead and search up, like, for example, I just searched up myself, and basically I'm able to get basically almost the same exact information. The same exact links come up on both. In fact, they both look almost identically the same. However, with Google, I will say the layout looks a little bit more better, I would say. It looks a little bit more modern. With the Bing layout, at least how it shows up on desktop with mobile, like you're probably watching it over this video, it is probably a little bit more modern, but the way I see it on, Bing, it looks kind of like the last version of Google. So it seems like Bing still has a little bit of catching up to do there, but I'm pretty much getting the same exact, information. I can go ahead and, basically sign in. I can save my searches. I can look at my images. I can look at videos, and I'm basically seeing the same exact, almost the same exact images. I will say though, probably with the Google search, I'm probably getting more images that, pertain maybe a little bit more, but the first couple images are pretty much the exact same thing between both as well. So it's really not even that big of a difference there. Now, on top of that, I will say one feature that Google lacks that Bing actually kind of has is probably within their reward system. So Bing has their like Microsoft rewards tie-in. They basically pay people to use Bing, at the end of the day, because they're trying to sway people over. So because of that, you are getting a little bit, like if you are going to use Bing, you can probably make a little bit of, I guess, not side income, but you could probably get Microsoft reward points, which you can, trade in for like Fortnite gift cards or like, Xbox Game Pass, those types of things. And I think that's a cool way that Microsoft was able to kind of tie things together. Google doesn't really have a thing like that for their search engine. They have like Google Survey Reward, whatever that is, but it's a completely different thing. That's the closest thing they have to it. But with Microsoft, they do actually have that type of capability, which is actually a really cool thing. Now, the big difference that has basically caused, I guess, the biggest uproar as of right now is probably with, I will say, ChatGPT and with Google Bard that Google has just made. So these are two different, I guess, chat resource things that we have between both, which we can basically ask it questions and it can basically give us responses. So this is something, we all kind of know about ChatGPT as of this point, and it is a really cool thing. It is really awesome. I haven't really used it too much. I probably should, but Google doesn't really have a public version of this thing out just yet. Now, maybe in the next few months they may have it. And this video will kind of just, you can just kind of look at Google Bard at that point, or maybe hopefully they change the name by that point. But Bing has this type of capability. And because of that, if you were somebody who's trying to go ahead and use some sort of like AI chat tool, well, Bing is not only, having this feature right now, but it's only getting better. Because Bing pretty much has such a huge, I guess, like, spread across in front of Google, like they're just so ahead of Google right now. If you are really into that type of thing, well, then Bing is probably going to be the better one for you, in my opinion. So that is going to be another pretty big thing right there too. And that is one of those things that kind of stands out to me that, if that is a big deal to you, well, then you are probably almost always going to use Bing over Google. And I can see a lot of people, like I mentioned before, switching over from something like Google over to Bing because Google doesn't really have that type of capability yet. Now, Google still owns things like YouTube, and if you have a, Google account, you can log in anywhere. With the Microsoft account, you can kind of do the same thing too, but with Bing, like, I would still say it's not as seamless. I feel like the website is still a little bit too clunky. I feel like when I log into Bing, it just gives me so much information that I don't need. I feel like Bing is trying to be like a news website. It's almost like Yahoo. If you remember, Yahoo was like a news website that you can search things on. And I feel like Bing should kind of eliminate some of the things on their main website as well. I feel like as soon as I log in, it just gives me so much information. And it reminds me of AOL.com. It gives me very like 2010 vibes. And there's no reason for a website like this to like look like this, I would say, especially for a website like Microsoft. I feel like, Xbox.com is a very good looking website, and that's another, Microsoft owned product. And I feel like Microsoft could do a little bit of a better job there. But with something like Google, it's very plain, it's very minimalistic, and it works, or it did work for that period of time. I feel like if Bing can be a little bit more minimalistic on their main page and really highlight that ChatGPT option that they have there, or Bing Chat, whatever they call it, that would sway a lot of people, and I mean a ton of people, over from Google over to Bing, because it's such a seamless experience. They don't have to go and see that main page every single time. So at the end of the day, I still think if you're going to use Google, you're probably going to use Google. If you're going to use Bing, you're probably going to use Bing. You're going to switch in between both. But right now, because of Bing Chat, a lot of people are probably going to switch over from using Google, or maybe not switching over 100% over to Bing, but probably switch over to Bing a lot more because they're already going to be on that search engine rather than being on Google a majority of the time. So I do think Google is in a really weird spot. I think they need to kind of focus down, release their new chat option. That way it does compete directly with Bing, because if they don't do that, well then, Bing is probably going to swallow up a lot of Google, customers. Maybe not all of them. I don't think it's going to be all of them at all, but it's probably going to be a lot of them. So that's kind of how both of these search engines compare in 2023. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.